Yeah, I remember, like, this was an era before we had NBA players bringing the show to the audience, right? It was more like stay in your role and just be that type thing, right? That's what we had. It's not until you start having like shooters and point guards allow their personality to shine in the game. Like, we got to remember, traditional basketball, your personality is not supposed to be what carries the game as far as what the audience is looking at. They want you to be what your position is, playing your role, and being a team contributor, right? And LaMelo Ball was not fitting in that at all. From viral kid to the Hornets' highest paid star, we got LaMelo Ball, and it's a great, crazy breakdown by this guy named Clutch. So I'm gonna go and shout him out, and also gonna have his link to the description, him or she, whoever, video / channel into the description. So yeah, let's go ahead and check this out.
He's become like the Kardashian of the NBA.
He has the style, he has the personality.
His speed, his quickness.
You're the lead on SportsCenter. At your age, did you ever think you'd be the lead on SportsCenter?
LaMelo Ball has been in the spotlight since he was barely old enough to drive. Cameras, critics, chaos, he's lived it all. But the craziest part? Through all the hype, the noise, and the doubt, he actually became everything they said he couldn't. This is the story of the kid who went from viral high school sensation to one of the brightest young stars in the NBA. This is the rise of LaMelo Ball. Before the bright lights, before the NBA fame, there was a backyard in Chino Hills, California, where three brothers spent every day turning basketball into a lifestyle.
That's crazy.
LaMelo was the youngest of the Ball brothers, Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo, raised by their father, LeVar Ball, a man who believed his sons were destined for greatness.
Bro, look at that. Look at that, man. A family, a man who has a family and believed and put a lot in love and just compassion and like into his kids.
While most kids were learning to dribble, LaMelo was launching half-court shots and playing against grown men. By 13, he was already playing varsity basketball for Chino Hills High School, a team that became a viral sensation. Fast breaks that looked like track meets, passes that defied logic, and a chemistry only brothers could have. Lonzo was the leader, LiAngelo was the scorer, and Melo, he was the wild card, flashy, fearless, and impossible to ignore. The Ball family became a movement. LeVar talked the talk, and his sons backed it up on the court. But even back then, you could see it, LaMelo wasn't just a product of hype. He had it. That unteachable confidence, that feel for the game. He wasn't trying to fit in, he was born to stand out.
Bro.
Then came the moment that changed everything. A 15-year-old LaMelo Ball dropped 92 points in a single high school game.
I remember that.
The internet exploded. Overnight, he went from Lonzo's little brother to a basketball phenomenon. But with fame came pressure and controversy. The media called him cocky. Coaches questioned his fundamentals. And as the spotlight grew, so did the
cocky, huh?
In 2017, LaMelo Ball's basketball journey took a turn no one expected. The spotlight that once felt like a blessing was starting to burn. Every game at Chino Hills was a circus, cameras flashing, fans chanting, and every move he made dissected online before he even hit the locker room. Behind the scenes, tensions were brewing. Clashes with coaches, headlines about his father, and whispers that Melo was more show than substance. And before his junior season, it all boiled over. LaMelo left Chino Hills, not for another high school, not for prep school, but straight into the unknown.
Yeah, I remember, like, this was an era before, you know, we had NBA players becoming more of like bringing the show to the audience, right? It was more like stay in your role and just be that type thing, right? That's what we had. It's not until you start having like shooters and point guards and just athletes starting to allow their personality to shine in the game. Like, we got to remember, traditional basketball, your personality is not supposed to be what carries the game as far as what the audience is looking at. They want you to be what your position is, playing your role, and being a team contributor, right? And LaMelo Ball was not fitting in that at all. they saw him as being cocky and someone who was being more of a showboat.
A few months later, he wasn't just out of school, he was out of the country. At just 16 years old, LaMelo Ball signed a professional contract in Lithuania, a small European country thousands of miles from California sunshine and American basketball fame. No prom, no college offers, no friends to lean on. Just a teenager in a foreign land with a basketball and a dream. The move was chaotic. Different language, different food, different weather, gray skies, and freezing gyms that felt a world away from the loud crowds of Chino Hills.
I remember that. Because, yeah, he didn't go the traditional route, right? His father didn't want him to go to the traditional route. And he was like, yo, we're going to take his talent overseas, improve it so he can get that, that next level, professional level. So that way, he can quickly get to the NBA league, right? And I remember, like, on the Ball Brothers show, whatever they call it, was like them calling and talking to him and him being overseas and explaining his whole, like, view over there and his experience. And it was quite interesting. And it was weird to not see him over with his brothers playing ball, you know what I'm saying? And his dad would fly over there, watch his games, and support him. I mean, man, we got to give the guy credit.
The fans didn't chant his name. The coaches didn't coddle him. And the pros he faced weren't impressed by mixtape highlights. They played physical, smart European basketball. And it showed. Melo struggled at first, timing off, shots not falling, and the weight of expectation pressing harder than ever. Critics were ruthless. Sports shows called it a publicity stunt. Analysts said he'd thrown away his NBA future. Even some fans believed the ball experiment had finally crashed. Just another viral player who peaked in high school, one headline read. But while everyone else was laughing, Melo was learning. Away from the lights, away from the cameras, he started to rebuild himself. He spent hours in the gym after practice, working on footwork, watching film, studying how grown men moved without the ball. He learned how to get hit and not complain, how to read defenses, how to earn respect in silence. In Lithuania, he learned humility. He learned patience. He learned what it meant to start from zero again. Because for the first time in his life, he wasn't LaMelo Ball, the show. He was just another kid fighting for a roster spot. The experience hardened him, not in a bitter way, but in a focused one. He realized the NBA dream wasn't built on highlights. It was built on grind. Every sleepless night, every game where he barely touched the ball, every headline calling him a failure, all of it became fuel. And when no one was watching, he evolved. His confidence didn't fade, it matured. His flair didn't disappear, it refined. By the time he returned to the US, he was older, stronger, and had something new perspective. But Melo wasn't done traveling. There was still one more stop before the world finally caught up to his growth. Because next, he went to Australia, and that's where everything changed again. In 2019, LaMelo Ball signed with the Illawarra Hawks in Australia's NBL. He wasn't just another American prospect, he was the most watched teenager on the planet. And for the first time, the hype started matching the performance. He dazzled fans with his vision, his passing, his creativity, and most importantly, his feel for the game.
And you gotta think about this. This was so brilliant about his father and how he positioned. He says, all right, you got fans in the US, but this broaden your fan base overall in other countries. Let's broaden your fan base. Not only give you the proper focus you need to be at, and grow you to what you need to be by eliminating the distractions in the US, but let's take your talents overseas so that way you also develop fan base over there. Come on, bro. Chess moves.
It wasn't just flash, it was real substance. LaMelo wasn't just entertaining people, he was controlling games. Triple doubles, game-winning plays, leadership beyond his years. The scouts who once doubted him were now calling him special. And just like that, the NBA couldn't ignore him anymore. Fast forward to the 2020 NBA draft. Some called him risky. Others called him the next superstar.
With the third pick in the 2020 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select LaMelo Ball from Chino Hills,
With the third overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets selected LaMelo Ball. The kid who skipped college, traveled the world, and faced endless criticism had officially made it. But even then, the doubters weren't done. They said he was too flashy, too immature, that his game wouldn't translate. They were wrong. LaMelo walked into the league and immediately turned heads. No adjustment period. No fear, just confidence.
Crazy.
His first few months were filled with highlight passes, deep threes, and jaw-dropping plays that reminded everyone, this kid was built for the spotlight. In his rookie year, he averaged 15.7 points, 6.1 assists, and 5.9 rebounds, and he didn't even start every game. By the end of the season, he was the NBA Rookie of the Year. Charlotte had hope again. The Hornets weren't just a team anymore, they were a show. But as fast as the rise came, so did the challenge. The spotlight that once celebrated him suddenly turned cold. LaMelo's flashy playstyle, the crossovers, the no-look passes, the fearless drives came with a cost. The NBA is brutal on the body, and it didn't take long for the toll to show. Ankle sprains, wrist fractures, little injuries that became big problems. Each one stole his rhythm, chipped away at his momentum, and forced him to sit when all he wanted to do was play. He missed significant time, and with every game he sat out, the noise got louder. Is he injury prone? Can he stay healthy? The same media that once crowned him a future superstar now questioned if he'd ever reach that level again. And while he was rehabbing, the Hornets were struggling. Losses piled up. Playoff dreams faded. Critics began whispering that maybe Melo wasn't the franchise savior Charlotte hoped he'd be. That maybe the hype had finally outrun the substance. But if there's one thing LaMelo Ball has always done, it's silence doubt. He's been underestimated his entire life. And every time people count him out, he uses it as motivation. Every offseason, he came back sharper, stronger, more patient. He worked on his decision-making, on controlling tempo, on leading with his voice, not just his handle. The flash was still there, but so was discipline. His court vision expanded like never before. He learned how to manipulate defenses, how to create angles that most players don't even see. And his leadership, once questioned, began to show in the quiet moments, guiding teammates, keeping composure, setting the tone. Now, as one of the NBA's brightest young stars, LaMelo isn't chasing viral fame anymore. He's chasing greatness. Because for Melo, this journey was never about proving people wrong. It's about proving himself right. LaMelo Ball's story isn't about hype. It's about belief. From backyard courts in Chino Hills to professional leagues across the world, he's been doubted, dismissed, and underestimated, and every single time, he's come back stronger. He was never supposed to make it this far, but the truth is, he was built for it. Because LaMelo Ball didn't just survive the pressure. He turned it into power. He's proof that no matter how loud the world gets, real talent always finds its way. And the scary part? He's still only getting started. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm excited to see what he does and his team do. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, just continue to pray for a healthy season for the whole team in general. And if you guys enjoy, man, this reaction/breakdown, and also, like I said, I'll have this channel link in the description, but hit the subscribe button for your boy too if you want to see more basketball reactions. I also plan on diving in first time in 16, 15 years, 10 years, however long it's been. I feel like it's been long, but 10 years for sure since I played 2K. And so, I feel like why not get back into it, especially that it's only been about 3 months since it's been out. So I'm like, why not try it out? I might like it. See you on the next one. Peace.